I helped an alien woman. Days later, she returned with a surprise. The storm hit the colony harder than usual that night. Rain pounded the metal rooftops, and the wind whipped through the narrow streets, rattling the support beams of the human settlement. The colony sat on a distant planet, far from Earth, with rough terrain and jagged rocks surrounding the small cluster of buildings. Most of the settlers were used to storms, but tonight even the most hardened colonists stayed inside, wary of what the darkness might hide. Inside his small workshop, the mechanic worked tirelessly on a broken shuttle engine. Sparks flew as he welded a fractured fuel line, and the smell of hot metal filled the air. He liked to keep busy. It helped him ignore the loneliness of the colony. Being one of the few skilled mechanics on this outpost meant he was often alone, with only machines for company. The storm made the solitude more intense, but he welcomed the quiet. Just as he tightened the last bolt, a sharp crash came from outside. Metal twisted, glass shattered, and a muffled groan echoed through the storm. The mechanic froze. Who or what was out there? He grabbed a flashlight and cautiously stepped outside. The rain drenched him almost instantly, but he didn't care. Curiosity overpowered caution. Near the edge of the colony, where the rocky cliffs began, he saw a figure lying on the ground. At first, he thought it was a fallen settlement drone, but the shape moved slightly. As he got closer, he realized it was a woman, but not a human one. Her skin shimmered faintly under the rain, a pale blue with faint patterns that seemed to shift like liquid light. Her eyes were large and luminous, with a soft golden glow. Her suit, designed for travel in harsh environments, was torn, and sparks of energy flickered where her life support was damaged. The mechanic's first thought was fear. He had read reports of alien sightings, but this was different. She was real and vulnerable. The rain washed over her delicate features, and he noticed her breathing was shallow, almost weak. "Are you okay?" he called, though he wasn't sure she would understand. Her large eyes flicked to him, full of confusion and fear. She tried to speak, but only a soft, broken sound came out. It wasn't a language he recognized. Yet somehow he understood that she needed help. Something in her expression told him she was not dangerous, only desperate. He rushed to her side and quickly assessed her injuries. Cuts ran across her arms where the metal of her suit had torn, and her leg was bent at an awkward angle. He lifted her carefully, ignoring the weight as adrenaline surged through him. "It's okay." "I'll help you," he said, speaking softly, though he didn't know if she could understand. The alien woman flinched slightly but didn't resist. Back in his workshop, he worked quickly, using the medical supplies he had on hand. Bandages, antiseptics, and basic pain relief. It was all he had, but it was enough for now. He cleaned her wounds, wrapped them carefully, and fixed the torn sections of her suit as best he could. The alien woman watched him closely, tilting her head and occasionally touching the repaired suit with long, slender fingers. Her movements were elegant, almost delicate, and she radiated a quiet dignity despite her injuries. "You're safe now," he said finally, stepping back to catch his breath. The storm outside continued to rage, but inside the workshop was calm. He studied her face, trying to understand her thoughts. She was clearly intelligent, but her expression was guarded. After a long moment, she spoke a few words haltingly. "Thank you," she said, her voice melodic but accented with strange tones. He smiled faintly. At least she understood gratitude. Over the next few hours, he did what he could to make her comfortable. He set up a blanket on a corner of the workshop floor, gave her water, and adjusted the life support on her suit. She remained silent mostly, watching him work, occasionally trying to communicate with gestures or soft sounds. The storm's roar outside seemed distant compared to the quiet tension between them. Eventually, she rested. The mechanic leaned against the workbench, exhausted but alert. He couldn't stop thinking about her. Who was she? Where had she come from? Why had she crashed here of all places? Questions filled his mind, but answers seemed far away. Still, one thing was clear: he had made a choice. He had helped her when no one else would, and now her life rested in his hands. Morning came slowly, bringing light that was muted by heavy clouds. The storm had passed, leaving puddles and mud across the rocky ground. The mechanic had slept briefly beside the workbench, keeping one eye open, but when he woke fully, the alien woman was gone. Panic struck him at first. Had she been discovered? Had she wandered off in her weakened state? He ran outside, scanning the colony. No sign of her. Then he noticed footprints leading away from the workshop toward the cliffs. She hadn't run or staggered. She had moved with careful precision, leaving barely a trace. Relief mixed with concern. He didn't know why, but he felt a strange connection to her, a sense that their meeting was not accidental. Days passed, and the encounter stayed with him. He repaired shuttles, maintained colony systems, and went about his work. But every shadow, every rustle in the wind made him think of her. Sometimes he caught glimpses of strange lights near the edge of the colony, faint glimmers that disappeared when he approached. He didn't know if it was her or something else entirely, but the feeling of being watched, not in danger but in curiosity, was constant. Then, on the fourth day, as he was working in the workshop, he heard a soft tapping at the door. At first he thought it was the wind, but when he opened it, he saw her standing there. Fully healed, her suit repaired and gleaming in the sunlight. Her eyes met his, and this time there was no fear, only calm and a hint of something he couldn't name. She started, pausing as if weighing her words carefully. Her voice was clearer now, more confident. "Thank you again, I have returned." He blinked. "Returned? I thought you left." His mind raced. How had she recovered so quickly, and why had she come back? She stepped closer, and for the first time he noticed the subtle hum of energy surrounding her, almost like a living aura. "I owe you," she said, her eyes glowing faintly. "You saved me when no one else would. I bring you a gift." He frowned, unsure what to expect. A gift. From beneath her arm, she produced a small device unlike anything he had ever seen. It was smooth, metallic, and seemed to pulse with an inner light. "For you," she said, holding it out. "To see, to learn." He hesitated, then took it cautiously. The device felt warm in his hand, almost alive. As he examined it, he noticed patterns moving across its surface, symbols that seemed to shift and change depending on the angle of the light. "I don't understand," he admitted. "What is this?" Her lips curved slightly, a gesture almost like a human smile. "A tool for you to help to know humans clever." Her words were broken, but the meaning was clear. She respected him, not just for saving her life, but for what he represented: human resourcefulness, bravery, and kindness. He felt a surge of pride and something else: curiosity, excitement, and a hint of fear. The galaxy suddenly felt bigger, more mysterious, and he was standing at the very edge of it. "I'll figure it out," he said, more to himself than to her. She nodded once simply, then turned toward the cliffs. He watched as she moved, graceful and confident, unlike anything human. Then, without a word, she disappeared over the edge, leaving him alone with the device and 1,000 questions. The mechanic stood there for a long time, staring at the horizon. Something had changed. The universe had opened up in a way he could never have imagined. He didn't know what would come next, but he knew one thing with certainty: his life, and perhaps humanity itself, would never be the same. That night, as he worked in the quiet of the workshop, tinkering with the strange device, he realized that helping one being, showing compassion and courage, had set something in motion far beyond his understanding. The storm was over, but a new adventure had begun, invisible to the untrained eye. And somewhere out there in the vast darkness of space, the alien woman watched and waited, her return only the first step in a story that would change everything. The morning after the alien woman's return, the mechanic woke with a strange sense of anticipation. The small device she had left him lay on the workbench, glowing softly in the dim light. He ran his fingers over it again, feeling the subtle warmth pulsing beneath his touch. It was unlike anything he had ever seen. Its surface shifted with strange patterns, moving in ways that seemed almost alive, yet it did not speak, did not make a sound. And yet he felt it calling to him, asking to be understood. He sat at the bench, tools scattered around him, and tried to make sense of it. He poked at buttons, pressed surfaces, and even tapped it lightly, but nothing happened. Still, he couldn't bring himself to put it away. The curiosity was too strong, and a part of him knew that this was more than just a gift. The alien woman had trusted him with something incredible, something that could change everything about how humans saw the universe. Hours passed. He tried to focus on his usual work, repairing colony equipment, fixing shuttles, but his mind kept drifting back to the device. Every so often, he caught a faint glow or a subtle hum that seemed to respond to his presence. Then he noticed something new. A thin beam of light shot out from the device when he tilted it, forming a map of glowing dots that hovered in the air. It was a star map, but unlike any star map he had ever seen. The dots moved, shifting patterns as if alive, pointing toward unknown regions far beyond the colony's sensors. He realized with a shock that the device was showing him signals from other planets, real, living worlds he had only read about in ancient Earth textbooks. Each dot pulsed faintly, as though waiting for him to understand their meaning. He leaned closer, tracing one of the lines with his finger, feeling a thrill of discovery. Humanity had never seen anything like this. Even the most advanced telescopes on Earth could not detect these worlds, and now somehow he could. As he studied the map, a soft sound from the doorway made him look up. The alien woman had returned. She moved with the same grace as before, her luminous eyes shining with a mix of pride and caution. "You awake?" she said, her voice still accented but smoother than before. "Yes," he replied, trying to hide his awe at the device. "I've been studying it. It's incredible. I don't know how it works, but it's showing me things." She stepped closer and studied his expression. "You see, you understand a little," she gestured toward the floating map. "It shows, signals many worlds. You humans, clever, you think fast." He smiled, a little embarrassed. I guess curiosity helps." She tilted her head, watching him, and then extended her hand toward the device. "I teach if you want. You learn quickly." He hesitated, then nodded. "Yes, please, I want to understand." Over the next few hours, she guided him. Though her English was broken, her gestures were clear. She showed him how to adjust the device's angles to highlight different star systems, how to interpret the patterns of pulsing lights, and how to detect signals that indicated intelligent life. With each instruction, his excitement grew. Every new system he discovered was a glimpse into the unknown, a hint of civilizations that humans had never imagined. As they worked, he noticed something else. She watched him carefully, her expression shifting from instruction to admiration. She seemed fascinated by his methods, by the way he applied logic and problem-solving to the alien technology. For the first time, he realized that this wasn't just a gift. She wanted to learn from him too, to understand human thought in the same way he was learning about her device. Days passed, and the mechanic and the alien woman settled into a rhythm. He worked on colony tasks during the day, and at night, they explored the device together. She taught him what she could, but she also allowed him to experiment, to test his own ideas. Sometimes the map would react to his touch in unexpected ways, revealing hidden coordinates or changing patterns, as if acknowledging his intelligence. One evening, as they traced a particularly bright signal, the alien woman paused. Her golden eyes glowed faintly. "This signal unusual, you must see." He leaned closer, watching the light pulse differently than any other dot. It was sharp, rhythmic, almost like a heartbeat. "What is it?" he asked, his voice barely above a whisper. She shook her head slowly. "Not sure. But respond to humans. You must be careful." A shiver ran down his spine. The device had been fascinating, but now it seemed to carry a warning. There were worlds that were curious about humanity, yes, but some might not be friendly. He realized that their discovery could attract attention, dangerous attention, from species far more advanced than humans, species who might not understand kindness or trust. He looked at her. "Do you think they could come here?" She nodded slightly. "Yes, watch, protect you." Protect, colony. Her eyes held a seriousness that made him understand the weight of their situation. This wasn't just about exploration or curiosity. This was about survival, about proving that humans could be clever, resourceful, and worthy of trust. He felt a surge of determination. He had helped her when she was in danger, and now it was his turn to protect what they had discovered. "We'll be careful," he said, "and we'll learn together." That night, a new phenomenon occurred. The device pulsed brightly, projecting a stream of holographic images into the air. Stars, planets, and strange structures appeared, spinning slowly in three-dimensional space. He realized these were not just signals, they were visualizations of entire civilizations. Cities, ships, and landscapes appeared, glowing in colors he could not name. Some were beautiful, others harsh and mechanical, but all were alive with energy. The alien woman watched him closely. "See, many intelligent life, some friendly, some not, humans special, clever." "Can understand?" He nodded slowly, overwhelmed by the scope of it. "I think I understand. Humans can do this. We can figure it out." She reached out, touching his arm gently. The warmth of her hand was comforting, and he realized she trusted him completely. Her species had observed countless civilizations, but they had chosen him, a human, to hold this knowledge. That realization filled him with pride and responsibility. The next day, word of the strange signals began to spread, though he kept most of the details secret. Small devices in the colony began behaving oddly, picking up faint traces of the energy patterns the alien device emitted. Some colonists were curious, others wary. He maintained a calm exterior, fixing problems as they arose, all while continuing his studies with the alien woman. During one session, the device projected a particularly bright and steady signal, pointing toward a distant, unexplored system. "This, important," she said. "Many watching, you see humans clever, humans potential." He leaned closer, studying the patterns. "Potential for what?" he asked. She hesitated, then gestured broadly toward the stars. "Future change, humans can make difference. Many worlds waiting understand humans." He felt a chill at her words. The responsibility was immense, but he also felt excitement. Humanity had always been underestimated in the galaxy, seen as primitive, weak, or irrelevant. Yet here he was, holding proof that humans could innovate, adapt, and survive in ways other species might never expect. Over the next few days, they experimented further. The alien woman showed him how to detect signals of intelligence from long distances, how to differentiate between natural phenomena and artificial structures, and how to anticipate the movements of ships and satellites from other worlds. Every lesson expanded his mind, every discovery strengthened his confidence. Humans were clever, yes, but now he had evidence that humans could stand on equal footing with alien civilizations. One evening, as the sun set behind the jagged cliffs of the colony, he paused to reflect. The alien woman sat nearby, watching him quietly. The storm from days ago seemed a distant memory, replaced by a calm anticipation of what was to come. He realized that helping her had set off a chain of events far beyond his imagination. What began as a simple act of kindness now held the promise of connecting humanity to the greater galaxy. He looked at her and smiled. "I never thought helping someone could lead to all this." She returned the smile, her golden eyes warm. "Life strange, humans brave, you helped me. Now we help others together." He nodded, feeling the weight of her words. Together, they were no longer just a human and an alien. They were partners, explorers, and perhaps ambassadors of something greater. The galaxy was vast and full of unknowns, but he had learned something essential. Humans could rise to any challenge, adapt, and shine in ways others might never expect. As night fell, the device pulsed gently beside them, projecting faint patterns of distant worlds. Somewhere out there, intelligent life observed, curious about this human who had proven his cleverness, his bravery, and his resourcefulness. And he knew, deep in his heart, that this was only the beginning. The universe was calling, and humanity was ready to answer. The morning air was sharp and cold on the distant colony, carrying the faint smell of metal and rain-soaked soil. The mechanic awoke to the soft hum of the alien device, still glowing on the workbench. Over the past days, it had become more than just a curiosity. It had become a guide, a key to understanding the vast universe beyond their remote settlement. Each night, new signals appeared, pulsing faintly like distant heartbeats, waiting to be interpreted. The alien woman was already awake, seated cross-legged on the floor, watching the device. Her golden eyes shone faintly in the dim light. "Signals many," she said quietly. "Some friendly, some dangerous. Humans must careful." He nodded, rubbing the sleep from his eyes. "I understand, but we can handle it, right? We just need to study carefully." She looked at him, tilting her head. "Humans clever, yes, can, but others watch, not all like humans." He frowned. The weight of her words settled in his chest. So far, their discoveries had been thrilling, almost magical, but now he realized there was another side. Some civilizations might see humans not as learners, but as intruders or even threats. The excitement of discovery mixed with a sharp edge of danger. They began their work immediately. The alien woman demonstrated how to focus the device on individual signals, revealing subtle patterns within the energy pulses. He traced one line after another, watching dots of light form complex maps of star systems. Occasionally, a dot pulsed rapidly or shifted abruptly, indicating an unusual source. Some systems emitted calm, steady signals, likely inhabited by intelligent species observing the universe. Others were erratic, dangerous, unpredictable. One signal caught their attention. A bright, rapid pulse appeared near the edge of known space, much stronger than the others. "This unusual," she said, her voice serious. "Not friendly, observe humans, clever, still, must, careful." He leaned closer, adjusting the device. The signal's pattern seemed almost alive, moving with purpose. "Could it be a ship?" he asked. "Or something bigger?" She nodded. "Yes, approach. Colony may watch, learn, or test." A chill ran down his spine. The first real threat had arrived, unseen, yet imminent. He realized that their discoveries were no longer private, and the colony itself might soon face attention from forces far beyond their understanding. He took a deep breath and forced himself to stay calm. Panic would not help anyone. The next hours were a blur of calculations, adjustments, and careful observation. The mechanic worked alongside the alien woman, translating the strange signals into patterns he could understand. Using simple logic and intuition, he began to predict the movements of the unknown ship or object, mapping a potential path. Every discovery required focus and ingenuity, every solution a test of human cleverness. By late afternoon, the device projected a three-dimensional map showing the approaching system, glowing faintly with an ominous light. "See," the alien woman said, "signals change, not like others, curious or hostile." He studied the map carefully. "I don't know yet. But we can prepare. If it comes, we'll be ready." Preparation meant more than hiding or shielding. It meant using the tools at hand, human skill, quick thinking, and the alien device to anticipate threats before they could act. The mechanic began reinforcing colony defenses, checking power supplies, repairing shuttles, and reinforcing barriers. He worked tirelessly, every movement precise, knowing that failure could have catastrophic consequences. The alien woman helped in ways he had not expected. She guided him on how to sense energy patterns beyond human perception, taught him subtle ways to detect approaching objects before they were visible, and even suggested clever maneuvers that leveraged the colony's terrain. Together, they became a formidable team, blending human resourcefulness with alien technology. That evening, the device pulsed sharply, projecting a holographic image of a large vessel approaching the colony. Its design was unlike anything human or alien from their previous encounters. Angular, dark, and heavily armed, it moved with deliberate precision, scanning the area as though searching for something or someone. The mechanic's heart raced. "It's here," he said quietly. "And it's huge." The alien woman's expression remained calm, but her eyes glowed brighter. "Humans clever can hide if smart, must protect device, protect colony." They spent the next hours carefully planning. Using the device's projections, he mapped routes for colony personnel to remain safe, created decoys with powered drones, and even rigged early warning signals to alert them of any intrusion. Each idea required ingenuity and speed, but he thrived under the pressure. Humans were adaptable, he realized, able to improvise and think creatively when survival depended on it. As night fell, the first contact began. Sensors picked up the approach of smaller scouts from the unknown vessel. They hovered at the edge of the colony, scanning, probing. The mechanic and the alien woman observed silently, watching as the scouts attempted to locate the source of the signals. "They clever," she whispered, "but humans cleverer," he nodded. Using a combination of drone interference and careful energy redirection from the device, they created false signals that drew the scouts away from the colony's most vital areas. It was tense, precise work. One misstep and the scouts could discover the device, or worse, attack the settlers. Hours passed, and slowly the danger seemed to diminish. The scouts retreated, confused by the false readings, and the larger vessel did not advance further. The mechanic allowed himself a small smile. Humanity had survived not by strength but by wit, strategy, and quick thinking. The alien woman looked at him, her eyes glowing with approval. "See, humans clever, survive danger, can teach others." He smiled back, feeling a surge of pride. "We did it together, your technology and human brains, a good team." She tilted her head, considering his words. "Yes, team, humans special, not just survive, thrive." The next morning brought relief, but also new questions. The unknown vessel remained at a distance, but the signals suggested it was still observing, waiting for another opportunity. The mechanic realized that their actions had drawn attention, not just curiosity, but scrutiny from a civilization capable of sending powerful ships across the stars. Over the next few days, they continued their research, using the device to explore distant worlds and detect signals of intelligence. Each new discovery brought excitement, but also caution. They saw planets teeming with life, some with societies advanced and harmonious, others rigid, militarized, and suspicious of outsiders. Each system offered lessons in human ingenuity, as he considered how to prepare for encounters with species who might underestimate humanity. One evening, while analyzing a particularly strong signal from a nearby sector, the device suddenly pulsed violently. Streams of light shot outward, forming complex geometric patterns he had never seen. "What now?" he asked, alarmed. The alien woman studied the display, her expression serious. "Warning, not friendly. Many watching humans must act carefully." He took a deep breath. This was no longer a game or a test. The galaxy was vast, yes, but it also held forces that could destroy the colony and possibly humanity if they were careless. Yet, he also realized that humans were capable of extraordinary things. Resourcefulness, courage, and quick thinking, qualities that had saved them before, would be needed again. "We'll figure it out," he said firmly. "We've done it before, we can do it again." The alien woman nodded. "Yes, humans can, clever, survive, thrive, make difference." That night they continued their vigilance, watching signals, analyzing energy patterns, and preparing for whatever might come. The unknown civilization remained at the edge of their sensors, patient and calculating. But the mechanic felt confident, not because they had weapons or brute strength, but because humans had something unique, the ability to think, to adapt, and to innovate under pressure. Days turned into a tense week. Scouts appeared sporadically, testing defenses and probing for weaknesses. Each time, the mechanic and the alien woman responded with clever strategies, using misdirection, energy manipulation, and the alien device's advanced features to keep the colony safe. Slowly, the unknown observers seemed to realize that humans were not to be underestimated. In a quiet moment, the mechanic looked out at the stars. "I never thought we'd face something like this," he said softly. "Aliens, signals, threats, yet somehow it feels right. Humans can do this." The alien woman joined him, her hand brushing his. "Yes, humans special, brave, clever, others see now, respect earned." He smiled, feeling the weight of their accomplishments. Humanity had survived the first true test of its ingenuity in the galaxy. They had used brains over brawn, strategy over panic, and their resourcefulness had kept the colony safe. And yet, he knew this was only the beginning. The unknown civilization might retreat for now, but the galaxy was vast, full of challenges, mysteries, and opportunities. He returned to the device, scanning the patterns, tracing the signals, and thinking about the future. Humans had proven themselves capable of cleverness, but now they had to prove something more, that they could thrive, that they could face danger without fear, and that they could rise to a place among the stars. The alien woman stood beside him, watching. Together, they were no longer just a mechanic and a stranger from another world. They were guardians, explorers, and pioneers. The unknown threats at the edge of their sensors were real, but they had something far stronger: human courage, intelligence, and the unyielding desire to survive and grow. The galaxy had noticed them, and humanity had responded, not with weapons, but with brilliance. And somewhere in the darkness of space, far beyond the reach of the colony, civilizations began to take notice of a small human outpost, and the clever, brave individuals who dared to defy the unknown. The days that followed were tense and full of preparation. The mechanic woke early each morning, checking the colony's defenses and the alien device for new signals. The strange civilization at the edge of the sensors had not yet attacked, but its presence was clear. Every movement of its scouts and every pulse of its signals reminded him that the galaxy was watching and that humans would be judged by their actions. The alien woman stood beside him, silently observing his work. Her golden eyes reflected both caution and pride. "Humans, ready. Clever learn, survive, but must act fast if danger comes." He nodded, understanding the gravity of her words. "I know, we can't wait for them to make the first move. We have to be ready, prepared for anything." Together, they went over plans again and again. The colony's energy shields were strengthened, though limited. The shuttles were repaired, equipped with decoys, and hidden when possible. Drones were programmed to create false signals, designed to confuse any surveillance. Every system had redundancy, every route had alternatives. The mechanic worked tirelessly, combining human intuition with the alien woman's advanced knowledge. Each adjustment, each improvement, made him feel more capable and more aware of the danger still approaching. That evening, a new signal appeared. It was different from the others, sharper and more deliberate. The alien woman immediately recognized it. This arrival not scout, main ship approach prepare. The mechanic's stomach tightened. The main ship was coming. He had known that the small scouts were just a test, a way to gauge humanity's skill and cleverness, but now the full force of the unknown civilization was moving toward them. "How fast?" he asked, trying to mask the nervousness in his voice. She studied the patterns, her fingers brushing the device with practiced motion. "Few hours reach colony. Watch humans clever, can survive if act wisely." Time became a blur. The mechanic ran through plans, checking every system, reinforcing barriers, and setting up hidden points for energy distribution. The alien woman guided him, showing subtle ways to anticipate the enemy's moves. Every detail mattered. Every miscalculation could mean disaster. As night fell, the colony prepared for what could be the first real encounter with an advanced alien civilization. Residents were quietly moved to safe zones. Energy fields were activated, and drones hovered in strategic positions. The mechanic worked with precision, double-checking everything, feeling the weight of responsibility pressing down on him. The first sign of the main ship's arrival came as a bright streak in the sky. It was enormous, far larger than any vessel he had imagined. Its dark hull absorbed the starlight, and glowing panels along its sides pulsed like a heartbeat. The device projected its approach in real time, showing each section and movement with perfect clarity. The alien woman stood beside him, her posture tense. "See, humans, clever. Now prove, survive, thrive." The ship slowed as it reached the outskirts of the colony, scanning, probing, observing. Smaller drones deployed from its hull, moving in patterns designed to map the area and detect hidden defenses. The mechanic watched their movement, analyzing every detail. He realized that brute force would not work here. Survival depended on strategy, ingenuity, and precise action. He activated the colony's decoy systems. Lights flickered in patterns designed to simulate energy activity in areas where no humans were present. Drones created holographic images of shuttles and machinery, confusing the alien sensors. The main ship paused, adjusting its scanning patterns, clearly trying to understand the situation. The alien woman guided him, pointing out subtle weaknesses in the ship's scanning. "This area blind, humans hide clever." He smiled faintly, recognizing the truth. Humans had faced impossible odds before, surviving storms, accidents, and hostile planets. This was no different. Though the stakes were higher, the principle was the same. Use intelligence, not strength, and adapt quickly. For hours, the tension built. The alien vessel tested the colony's systems, sending energy pulses and scanning fields to locate the device. Each time, the mechanic used human cleverness to redirect signals, mask locations, and confuse the sensors. The alien woman watched him closely, clearly impressed. "You humans special," she said quietly. "Can survive, thrive, clever, teach others." Then the ship changed tactics. Its smaller drones attempted to penetrate the colony's perimeter, moving faster and more intelligently than before. The mechanic's mind raced. He quickly programmed the drones to mislead the intruders, creating illusions of energy activity and sending false signals to draw the scouts away from critical areas. The alien woman assisted, projecting subtle energy patterns from the device that the human sensors could interpret as real activity. The first scout approached a key energy node. The mechanic activated a pulse diversion, sending the scout into a loop that prevented it from returning to the main ship. The alien woman nodded in approval. "Humans, clever. Survive, possible." Hours passed with the same intensity, the main ship adjusting its approach while the humans and the alien woman countered each move. The colony's defenses were not the most powerful, but the combination of human intelligence and alien technology created a system that the intruders could not easily overcome. By dawn, the immediate threat had passed. The main ship had retreated to a safe distance, its drones scattered but still observing. The mechanic exhaled, exhausted but proud. Humans had survived a direct test from a far superior civilization, not by weapons or power, but by strategy, ingenuity, and careful thinking. The alien woman placed a hand on his shoulder. "See, humans, clever, survive, thrive, prove, strength, not force, but mind." He nodded, feeling the weight of her words. Humanity had shown that it could face the unknown and emerge not just unscathed, but respected. For the first time, he understood that survival in the galaxy depended on cleverness, adaptability, and courage, not just strength. Over the next days, they analyzed the signals left by the intruding civilization. The alien woman taught him to interpret subtleties in the patterns, traces of intent, hints of curiosity, and signals of caution. Humans could now read the galaxy in ways they had never imagined, understanding potential threats and opportunities with precision. The mechanic realized that the alien woman had returned not only to repay him for saving her life, but to teach humanity a vital lesson: that cleverness, courage, and resourcefulness were the greatest weapons of all. Together, they had turned a near-certain danger into a demonstration of human ingenuity. One evening, as they watched the stars, the device projected an intricate map of nearby systems. Some were peaceful, others more aggressive, and one system displayed repeated pulses that seemed almost like a warning. The alien woman studied it closely. See, humans, clever, survive, thrive, but universe tests many times, must ready. He looked at her determination in his eyes. We've learned a lot already. We can handle what comes next. Humans are ready for this. She nodded, her golden eyes glowing softly. Yes, humans, brave, clever, special, can make difference. The days that followed were quieter, but tension remained. The intruders had not returned directly, but the knowledge that they were out there was a constant reminder. The mechanic continued to reinforce the colony's systems, using every bit of his skill and intelligence. He worked tirelessly, driven by the knowledge that humans had proven their worth and that the galaxy was watching. One evening, a new signal appeared on the device. Unlike the previous patterns, it was calm, deliberate, almost respectful. The alien woman studied it, her expression thoughtful. See, humans, clever, others notice, respect, possible. Humans can change galaxy. He realized the truth of her words. Survival was one thing, but recognition was another. Humans had proven that they could adapt, think, and survive in ways that others could not ignore. They were no longer just a small colony on a distant planet. They were a symbol of human potential, a testament to courage and ingenuity. As night fell, the mechanic stood at the edge of the colony, gazing at the stars. The alien woman joined him, silent for a moment, watching the distant lights of the unknown civilization. See, humans ready, clever, brave, survive, thrive, prove, worthy. He smiled, feeling a surge of pride. Humanity had faced its first true test in the galaxy and had passed, not through strength, but through intelligence, adaptability, and courage. The galaxy was vast and full of unknown dangers, but humans had proven that they could rise to any challenge, survive, and even thrive in the face of adversity. He turned to the alien woman. We've done well so far, but this is just the beginning. There's so much more out there. Humans were ready. She nodded, her eyes glowing softly. Yes, humans ready, universe watching, clever, brave, survive, thrive, make difference. Together, learn, grow, change, galaxy. And with that, they returned to the workshop, side by side, ready to face whatever challenges the vast universe might send their way. The main ship had retreated, but the galaxy was far from quiet. Humans had proven their worth, and now it was time to continue learning, growing, and showing the universe what they were capable of. The days following the retreat of the main alien ship were tense but hopeful. The mechanic and the alien woman worked tirelessly, continuing to explore the device's signals, map nearby star systems, and prepare the colony for any future threats. Even though the immediate danger had passed, the presence of other civilizations in the galaxy remained a constant reminder that humans were no longer just observers. They had become participants in a universe much larger and more complex than they had ever imagined. The alien woman moved beside him in silence, her golden eyes scanning the faint, pulsing lights from the device. Humans, clever, brave, survive, thrive, ready now. Her words were simple, but they carried a weight that the mechanic understood fully. Humans had proven themselves, but the galaxy had many challenges still in store. He looked at her and nodded. I understand, but now I feel like we're ready for more. We've learned so much, and we can use it to do something bigger. She tilted her head slightly, curious. Something bigger? Yes, he said. We've protected the colony, we've survived, we've shown the galaxy that humans are clever, brave, and capable, but I think we can go further, we can learn more and maybe help others. Her eyes softened. Yes, humans special. Can change galaxy. Can help others understand humans, clever, survive, thrive. That day, they began preparations for a journey beyond the colony. Using the alien device, they identified a nearby star system that seemed stable and peaceful, yet full of life. The signals suggested intelligent civilizations, and perhaps an opportunity to show humanity's value in the galaxy, not as invaders, not as weaklings, but as allies, learners, and capable beings. The mechanic coordinated the colony's defenses, ensuring that everything would remain safe while he was away. Drones were stationed in strategic positions, energy fields maintained, and communications secured. Every precaution was taken because even a small mistake could endanger the people who had trusted him, as well as the alien woman who had risked everything to return to him. When the time came to leave, the alien woman accompanied him to the shuttle. She moved with her usual grace, scanning the device and the skies with alert precision. "Humans, clever, brave, ready, prove, worthy, galaxy see," he smiled, feeling a mixture of pride and excitement. "We'll show them together. Humans are ready." The shuttle lifted off the colony, cutting through the thin atmosphere and into the darkness of space. Stars stretched endlessly around them, and the alien device projected a glowing path toward the distant system. The mechanic marveled at the beauty of the universe, and at the thought that humanity had a place among the stars, a place earned through ingenuity, courage, and resourcefulness. As they approached the target system, the device detected multiple civilizations. Some were curious, observing from a distance, while others seemed cautious, their signals hesitant and analytical. The alien woman explained that the galaxy operated like a web, where civilizations communicated subtly, watching newcomers and evaluating their intentions. Humans, she said, were now part of that web, and their actions would determine how others saw them. The shuttle passed through the system's outer regions, scanning planets and moons. The alien device highlighted energy patterns, unusual signals, and potential habitats. They discovered a planet teeming with life, but its civilization was at a critical stage, struggling to survive environmental challenges and external threats. "This, humans, can help," the alien woman said. "Show clever, resourceful, survive, thrive, others see humans special," the mechanic nodded. "We can't solve everything, but we can help in ways that matter, show them what humans can do." They landed on the planet in a safe clearing. The atmosphere was breathable, and the local terrain was rich with forests and rivers. However, the energy signals from the device revealed disturbances, artificial structures that were failing, and populations struggling to adapt to changes. Humans had the opportunity not only to survive, but to make a meaningful difference. The mechanic and the alien woman began assessing the situation. Using human ingenuity combined with the alien technology, they created solutions for energy, transportation, and communication systems. They helped stabilize critical infrastructure, showing the inhabitants how to use logic, strategy, and problem-solving to improve their lives. It was not an easy task. The civilization had its own traditions, its own ways of doing things. Sometimes they resisted suggestions or misunderstood intentions. But the mechanic remained patient, demonstrating that humans could adapt and work alongside other beings respectfully and intelligently. "You, humans, clever, adapt, teach, respect, thrive, survive," the alien woman said, her voice full of pride. Days turned into weeks as they worked tirelessly. Slowly, the planet's civilization began to respond positively. Systems improved, communities grew stronger, and signs of hope returned. Humans had not only survived challenges themselves, but had now demonstrated that they could help others thrive through intelligence, courage, and cooperation. One evening, as they rested after a long day, the alien woman projected the device into the air. A holographic map showed multiple systems observing their work. The mechanic realized that the galaxy was now aware of humanity, not as a minor species, but as one capable of action, understanding, and innovation. "See," she said. "Humans, special, clever, brave, help others worthy galaxy notice." He smiled, humbled and proud. "I never imagined that helping one person could lead to this. Humans were not perfect, but we can rise to any challenge." The alien woman nodded. "Yes, humans, clever, survive, thrive, teach, learn, make difference." Their mission on the planet reached a turning point when a sudden energy fluctuation threatened the entire system. A massive storm disrupted the infrastructure they had worked to repair, putting the population at risk. The mechanic quickly analyzed the data from the device, identifying weak points and devising solutions under extreme pressure. Using quick thinking and resourcefulness, he guided the inhabitants to safety, stabilized the critical systems, and prevented catastrophe. The alien woman watched, clearly impressed. Humans brave, clever, survive, thrive, prove, galaxy right to trust. That night, as the planet settled and the skies cleared, the mechanic reflected on everything that had happened. From the storm on his home colony to saving an alien woman, to exploring distant star systems, and now helping an entire civilization, humanity had proven its worth. Resourcefulness, courage, and cleverness were not just traits, they were the essence of what made humans capable of rising to any challenge. The alien woman joined him in the observation deck, watching the stars. Humans proved worthy. Galaxy see, respect, trust, clever, brave, survive, thrive. He nodded, feeling the weight of her words. We've come far from a small colony on a distant planet to showing the galaxy what humans can do, and this is only the beginning. As they prepared to return to the human colony, the device pulsed with new signals, fresh opportunities, distant civilizations, and challenges that awaited them. The mechanic realized that their journey was far from over. Humanity had begun to leave its mark on the galaxy, not through force or dominance, but through ingenuity, courage, and the willingness to act when it mattered most. The alien woman looked at him with pride. Humans special, clever, brave, survive, thrive, make difference. Together learn, grow, change galaxy. He smiled, feeling a deep sense of purpose. Humanity had survived its first true test among the stars, earned respect from other civilizations, and shown that cleverness and courage could change the course of events in ways no one had anticipated. As the shuttle lifted from the planet, carrying them back toward their colony, the mechanic looked out at the endless stars. The galaxy was vast, full of wonders and dangers, but he knew humanity was ready. They had proven their worth, and now the universe would take notice. Somewhere out there, civilizations watched, curious and cautious. They saw humans as a species capable of thought, action, and innovation. A small colony on a distant world had become a symbol, not of power or conquest, but of cleverness, resilience, and bravery. Humans had shown that even in the face of unknown threats, they could survive, thrive, and make a difference. The alien woman reached out, resting a hand on his shoulder. Humans ready, clever, brave, survive, thrive, prove, worthy. Future bright, galaxy see. He nodded, determination shining in his eyes. We've done it, but we'll keep going. Humans were just getting started. And as they traveled back through the stars, the device glowing softly beside them, they both knew that this was not the end of their journey. It was the beginning of something far greater. Humanity had earned its place in the galaxy, not by force, but by courage, intelligence, and the willingness to rise to challenges no one else could face. For the mechanic, the alien woman, and all of humanity, the universe was no longer a distant dream. It was a challenge, an opportunity, and a canvas for cleverness and bravery. And together, they would continue to explore, protect, and inspire, proving that humans could survive, thrive, and make a difference wherever the stars might take them. As the shuttle disappeared into the darkness of space, one thought remained clear in the mechanic's mind. Helping one being had changed everything. Humanity's journey had only begun, and the galaxy would never forget what clever, brave humans were capable of.